everyone, welcome to God-Sustained Country Living. Thank you so much for watching our videos. Today I will be telling you a story about how we finally acquired a piece of land. And the reason why I want to tell you this story is because I believe that it will encourage someone not to give up, because at the end, God does answer prayers. So this story started quite a long time ago, long before my husband and I got married. The year was 2015. We had just finished our studies and we had just started working as trainees and basically getting paid a stipend. But my husband, then boyfriend, and I and a couple of friends decided that we're going to start view some farms because we wanted to do country living. At that point in time, we're not getting paid a lot of money, a stipend. So you can imagine how little it was, but we still felt that God would answer our prayers and we would be able to afford the land. What was funny about this whole process was that we were viewing farms which were very expensive, farms that were costing millions. But we did not feel that we could not afford, even though we were getting so little money. Fast forward to 3 years after we finished our training contract, we qualified in our field and we started working as professionals. My husband and I got married 3 months before qualifying. I don't know what happened, but it seems after we qualified, the plan of buying a farm was no longer a priority. It was like it was packed at the back of our mind. It seems like it was no longer that important. It was still a dream. I remember everyone I worked with knew that I wanted to stay in a farm and I wanted to be a housewife. But still, it was just that, a dream. It was no longer a priority. I remember at some point after we got married, we even bought an apartment in the cities. And we're also planning, or we're also thinking that maybe we should buy a bigger house with a garden and all that, still in the cities. How disappointing. All I can say is that life was happening, but in the cities. Then boom, 2020 happened. A pandemic started.
As a consequence, the National Coronavirus Command Council has decided to enforce a nationwide lockdown for 21 days with effect from midnight on Thursday, the 26th of March. Individuals will not be allowed to leave their homes except under strictly controlled circumstances, such as to seek medical care, buy food, medicine, and other supplies.
For some reason, the pandemic woke my husband and I up. We started remembering what we have always wanted to do, which is country living. While in lockdown, we started looking for properties. At first, we found this property in Limpopo, in Bela Bela. We found this land, which was 8 hectares. It was not that expensive, but we were also buying it with another family. We signed the OTP. We agreed the price with the seller, and once we've paid the money to the lawyers, what happened is that the seller changed his mind, and he was like, for the sale to go through, he wanted an additional 20,000. And we're like, no, that is not fair. We've agreed on the amount, we've paid the amount that we've agreed on, we have signed the contract, we're not gonna pay the additional money. And then they were like, no, if that's the case, then the land is not going to be transferred on our name to our names that quick. So what is it that we wanted to do? So what we ended up doing, we prayed and we cancelled the purchase of the land. So that was the first land we tried to buy. The second one, we found another piece of land that was in the Free State, Kopis. Well, this land was also about 8 hectares. And it had a borehole, but that was not equipped. So it was a little bit more expensive than the first land. And with this one, we're buying it alone, just me and my husband. When we tried to apply for a portion of the funds from the bank, there was a whole lot of back and forth. It seemed the people at the bank were not working with our papers. Like, we'll send them things, they will lose them. The next minute, they send an email. The next day, they send an email wanting more documents, the same documents that we have sent. And we prayed about it with my husband, and we just realized that maybe God is saying this is not the one. So we canceled that contract as well, and we did not buy that land in the Free State. In 2021, we were invited by one of our elders from church to come and join him to start a project in the Northwest. This project was going to be planting and selling organic produce to the community. So this was giving us an opportunity for us to learn how to plant and how to take care of the garden so that we can prepare for when we move to the country. While we were busy doing that project, the elder knew that we were looking for land, and he told us of a lady who was looking for people to buy a farm with. This farm was in Limpopo, and she wanted us to go to Limpopo to view this farm so we can see if we can actually buy the farm with her. So what ended up happening is that me, my husband and I, and the lady and the elder with his wife, we ended up going to go view this farm in Limpopo to see how it looks. It was such a beautiful farm, I must say, but it was very expensive. Even though we were going to have to buy it with other families, it was still too expensive for us. We just could not afford it. What happened when we were there, my husband thought, how about we actually view other farms that are in the area, which are sort of like in the price range that we can afford. So while we were there, we made up an appointment to see one of the sales agents who took us to this farm, which used to be one farm, but it was subdivided to 3 different farms. So in that farm, the first part of the farm had a house, and then the second part was just a lot of fruit trees, and then the third part was mainly just banana trees, and the rest of the land was just empty. So the third part of the farm was being sold separately, and then the first part and the second part were being sold together, making it more expensive for us. So my husband and I thought, okay, we can afford, or we can try and get money to buy the third portion of the farm because it was not that expensive. So when we came back to Joburg, we now had to think, where are we going to get this additional money to be able to buy this third part of the farm? So my husband decided that he was going to send an email to the elder to ask him if he can loan us money to be able to buy this third part of the farm. What ended up happening is that the elder was like, he actually wants to see the farm so he can see how he can help us. So you remember when we went to Limpopo, we went with him, but he did not manage to see the farm because the vehicle that we had went with could not get to the farm, right? But so now he wants to see the farm. So what we ended up doing, we ended up organizing another trip to go back to Limpopo so we can see this farm so he can decide how he's going to help us in trying to acquire this farm. When we got back to Limpopo, we actually found out that the third part of the farm has been sold, unfortunately. And the first part as well has also been sold. So the only part that is still available is the second part, the part that has the trees, the fruit trees. So we told the sales agent that we were actually very much interested in buying this second part of the farm because now that it's being sold separately, it is more affordable, same as the third part of the farm that we had thought that we were going to buy, right? So now what happens, we go back with the elder. He has seen the farm, he's happy with the farm, and then he was like, he is not going to loan us the money. What he's going to do, he's going to actually buy the farm with us so we can be co-owners. And we believe that was a blessing from God because it was going to be impossible for us to buy it by ourselves, and getting a loan was also not that much of an ideal thing, but because we needed this land, it was something that we were willing to do, right? But we thank the Lord that he brought to us this wonderful family who ended up buying this farm with us, and now we send the OTP for this second part of the farm. There were a number of negotiations that went through before the sale went through, and it became official, and the farm was ours. So yeah, it's just an encouragement to everyone out there that we may dream, we may think, we may even plan on how we want to acquire the farm, but God will always find a way to make it happen. Even if it means that you're going to have to buy the farm with another family, even if it means that you're going to have to buy with 2 families as well. So we thank the Lord for blessing us with this farm. And yeah, I'm just going to show you the pictures that I'm going to show you at the end of this videos, which were actually on the thumbnail. Those are the pictures that we took when the transfers was officially done and the farm was in our name. We went to the farm, and it was in the morning, and as you can see on this picture that my husband even kissed the ground. This is how grateful we were that finally we have land in our names, which was purchased without having to go to the banks, without having to get a loan. We thank the Lord for this blessing. Thank you so much for watching this video.
To be aware of new videos like this one, be sure to subscribe to the Preparing for the Time of Trouble channel. For more free videos and downloadable audio podcasts, as well as handouts, go to www.preparingforthetimeoftrouble.com. Topic categories include recordings of live seminar presentations, country living, sustainable gardening, homestead remedies, how to be self-sufficient when the grid goes down, wild edible and medicinal plants, hydrotherapy, and end-time Bible prophecies. To take advantage of these free resources, go to preparingforthetimeoftrouble.com.